Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our second maths lesson of the week. And we are going to continue our work on sharing today. So, to get us started, these are the things that you are going to need for today's lesson. All you need is a dry white pen, and if you've got a whiteboard, that would be brilliant too, and a pencil and paper. So we don't need much today, so that should only take you about 1 minute to go and get the things you need. Pause the video and then come back when you're ready. See you in a moment. Okay, welcome back. Now then, we're going to get our maths brains warmed up by doing a times table challenge, which is called Beat the Monster. And the reason it's called Beat the Monster is because a cheeky little monster is about to run across the screen into his cave. As soon as you see the monster, some questions will appear, and you've got to see if you can answer the questions before the monster makes it to his cave. That's why it's called Beat the Monster. Now, there's 3 different levels here. You could either choose to do the 2 times table question, the 10 times table question, or the 5 times tables question. So just choose one of them. Unless you're feeling super duper clever and super whizzy, you might be able to answer them all in the time, but that would be a challenge. Okay, we'll do one just to practice all together. Right, are you ready to beat the monster? Remember, as soon as the question comes up, try and solve it and write your answer down. Are you ready? Steady? Let's beat the monster! And there we go. As soon as he gets in his cave, the answers will appear. So did you manage to get them down? So the answers we've got here are 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 10 is 30, and 3 times 5 is 15. Well done if you managed to beat the monster. Now you know how the game works now. So the next one you should be ready to go. Okay, so are you ready to beat the monster? 3, 2, 1. And there we go, he's in his cave. Up come the answers. So this time, 4 times 2 was 8, 4 times 10 is 40, and 4 times 5 is 20. Well done if you managed to beat the monster. Ready to go again? 3, 2, 1, go! Okay, here are the answers. 10, lots of 2 is 20. 10 tens are 100, and 10 times 5 is 50. Here he comes again. 3, 2, 1, go! Did you beat the monster that time? Let's see the answers. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 10 is 50. And 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, here's that monster again. And there we go. That time we had 11 times 2 is 22, 11 times 10 is 110, and 11 times 5 is 55. Did you beat the monster? This is your last chance to do it. And there he goes. Okay, so our answers are 7 times 2 is 14, 7 lots of 10 is 70, and 7 times 5 is 35. Congratulations if you beat the monster. If you did, that means you're starting to get really fluent, really quick at your times table facts. So well done. Okay, on to today's lesson. And as I said, we're going to carry on our work on sharing into equal groups. And if you remember yesterday, we talked about that word equal. If we have equal groups, it means every group is the same. They contain the same number of objects, the same number. So we will carry on with that today. Let's have a quick recap on yesterday's maths. So here's our friend Wilf. Now Wilf has got 15 bananas and he puts them into 5 bags. How many are in each bag? Now, if you remember yesterday, we were doing this, we were using some objects like stones or pasta, something like that, to help us to work out these questions. So if we were going to do this question with our 15 bananas, we would count out 15 pebbles or 15 buttons, and we would sort them into 5 groups, a bit like this. So 1 banana there, 1 in that bag, 1 in that bag, and 1 in that bag, and 1 in bag number 5. And then we go back again to the first bag, 1 in there, 1 in the second bag, 1 in the next bag, 1 in that bag, and then 1 in that last bag. And then we go again, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 in that bag, and that last one in there. And we have shared them out equally because every bag has got the same number of bananas. So what we've worked out here is 15 divided into 5 bags, or shared equally into 5 bags, leaves us with 3 bananas in each bag. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now that's what we were doing yesterday, so hopefully you'll be thinking, yep, I'm good at that. We're going to do the same question again, but we're just going to do it a slightly different way. So let's just get rid of those bananas. We're going to pop them up in the corner a second, because I'm going to show you how to do it without having to use any objects to do counting. We're just going to use our pencils and a piece of paper. And this is how we do it. So if we're thinking about our 15 bananas and putting them into 5 bags, we're putting them into 5 groups. So what I might do first of all is draw 5 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. And those represent our 5 bags. And then instead of having 15 bananas, I'm not going to use stones or buttons or anything this time. I'm just going to draw dots, and I'm going to count up to 15, but putting 1 dot in each of those groups, in each of those circles, as we go, 1 at a time. Okay, so this will make sense when I do it. So if we've got 15, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I counted up to 15, going 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, filling up each of those circles equally. And we had our 15 bananas, and we shared them out amongst the 5 circles, the 5 bags, and in each of those circles we had 3. So we worked that out just by using a pencil and a paper. 15 divided by 5 equals 3. And that's what we're going to do in today's maths lesson. We're just going to be working these questions out by using our pen and doing some jottings. So let's try another one all together. So here's our friend Poppy again. And Poppy, lucky old Poppy's got more Haribo. She does seem to have a lot of Haribo, doesn't she? So Poppy has 12 sweets. She shares them into 2 equal groups. Now, before we get going, do you think, oops, oh, I nearly showed the answer there. Do you think you could write out the number sentence? What number sentence do we need to write out to show what's going on? Could you jot that down a second? Okay, hopefully this is what you've got if you didn't see a sneaky peek just now. 12 divided by 2 equals something. That's what we're trying to find out. 12 shared into 2 equal groups is what we're trying to find out. So to solve this problem, what I am going to do is to draw my 2 equal groups. And I'm going to count out my 12 by drawing my dots. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I counted that out nice and equally. Let's see how many we've got in each of those circles. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that one, because they are equal. So 12 divided by 2, or 12 shared into 2, is 6. Hopefully you got that at home. So pause the video here and just see if you can draw that out and work it out for yourself. Okay, on to our next question. So we're going to keep with Poppy and her 12 sweets, but this time she is going to share them into 3 equal groups. So the first thing we need to do is to write out that number sentence. Do you think you could jot that down at home, please? So 12 sweets shared into 3 equal groups. What's the number sentence? Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. 12 shared between 3. 12 divided by 3 is what we've got to find out. How many would that be in each group? So this time, because we're dividing into 3, we need to draw 3 circles. Do you think you could do that for me? 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to ask you to pause the video here because we've got our 3 circles. We know we've got to share out 12. Do you think you could have a go at doing that on your piece of paper at home and writing in the answer to your number sentence? So pause the video, have a go, and then come back once you've done it. Okay, here we go then. So we've got our 3 groups. I'm going to share out my 12 just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I look in each of those circles, we've got 4 and 4 and 4. So I shared 12 into 3 groups, and there are 4 in each group. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. Well done if you had that one right. Okay, so that is what you are going to be doing today on your own. So we've got 3 different challenges that you can choose from. So you might want to choose the first one, which is just sharing into groups of into 2 equal groups. You might want to try the boat challenge, which is sharing into equal groups. And you might even go on to solve our submarine challenge. How many ways can you find to share a number into equal groups? We'll go through one by one, and you can pause the video at the challenge that you want to do. So here's our first one. So all of these are dividing into 2 equal groups, and I want you to use your pen and your paper and to draw the circles and draw dots to count them out to work out the answer. And then there's a question for you. When we share equally into 2 groups, we call this half. So when you split anything into 2 equal groups, we call it half. So can you find half of 14? That just means sharing 14 into 2 equal groups. Okay, pause the video here if that's the challenge you would like to do. And 15 minutes should be plenty of time to do that challenge. Okay, on to our next challenge. And again, we've got some questions here that you've got to share into equal groups. And then there are 2 questions to solve. The first one says the 3 little pigs share 15 cookies. How many do they each get? And then the next one, this one has got 2 parts to it, so you need to think this one through carefully. Mrs. Crab bakes 25 gingerbread men. She eats 5 of them herself, and then she shares the rest between Mr. Antell and Miss Booth. No, I didn't get any. How many do Mr. Antell and Mr. Booth get? Oh, not Mr. Booth, Miss Booth. So first of all, she starts with 25, she eats 5 of them, think how many are left, and then she shares them between Mr. Antell and Miss Booth. Pause the video here if you'd like to have a go at those challenges. And again, that should take you no more than 15 minutes. Now, some of you might want to go on to this challenge. And if you remember yesterday, at the end of our lesson, we talked about some missing number problems. And using what you know about sharing, you could have a go at solving these problems. So you might want to do the other challenge before this first, and then go on to this challenge. So pause the video here and have a go at this one if you want to. It should take no longer than 15 minutes. And I'll see you all in a moment. Good luck. Okay, then let's go through the answers to these challenges. So our first one, 4 divided by 2 equals 2. 16 shared between 2 equals 8. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 18 shared into 2 equal groups would be 9. And 2 divided by 2 would be 1. If you've got 2 apples and you share them between 2 people, that have 1 apple each. And then on to the next question. We said dividing by 2 is sometimes called halving. That's how we find half. So when we share equally into 2 equal groups, we call this half. Can you find half of 14? So this would be 14 divided by 2 equals 7. Well done if you got that right. On to our next challenge now. So First of all, our number sentences. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 25 shared between 5 is 5. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And 20 divided by 2 is 10. Did you notice those last two? We've just switched them around. So if you know that 20 divided by 10 is 2, you shouldn't even need to turn your brain on to know that 20 divided by 2 is 10. And then onto the Three Little Pigs challenge. They share their 15 cookies. How many do they get each? So that's 15 divided by 3, and they get 5 cookies each. And then onto Mrs. Crab's gingerbread challenge. So Mrs. Crab had 25 gingerbread men. She ate 5 of them. So first of all, we need to do 20, take away 5, which would leave Mrs. Crab with 20 cookies, gingerbread men, and then she kindly shares them out with Mr. Antel and Miss Booth. So there's 2 of them. So it's 20 divided by 2, and the answer is 10. Mr. Antel and Miss Booth get 10 cookies each. Well done if you got that one right. And then on to our final challenge, our missing number problem. So for the first one, we've got 12 divided by something equals 4. So if we share them into equal groups, and there are 4 in each group, so if I just jot this down for you, so I have 4 in this group, 1, 2, 3, 4, then another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then another 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means I have put them into 3 groups. So the answer, that first one would be 12 divided by 3 equals 4. On to the next one. What divided by 3 equals 3? I'll draw this one out again. So I know we're putting them into 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, and there will be 3 in each group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the answer to that one is 9 divided by 3 equals 3. And hopefully you'll be able to work all of the others out in the same way. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 24 divided by 8 is 3. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. Well done if you work those ones out. Now, on that last question, I said 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Of course, there are lots of different answers to that because you might have put, well, lots of different things. You could have put 15 divided by 5 equals 3. And I'm just going to move, if I can, these out of the way. 1 second. And you could have put 20 divided by 5 equals 4. And you could have put 25 divided by 5 equals 5. You could have put anything. You could have put 100 divided by 5 equals, what would that be? 100 divided by 5 would be 20. There are 5 lots of 20 and 100. You could have done, well, maybe you could go and do a challenge, see how many possibilities you could find for that one. And that brings us to the end of today's maths lesson. So we've been sharing things into equal groups, and tomorrow we really are going into bigger numbers and working out how we divide, how we share our tens numbers. So I hope to see you all tomorrow for our next maths lesson. Until then, goodbye.